Hello everybody, my name is, well you really don't care what my name is, and may the fourth be with you. Okay, yeah, that was dumb, I'm sorry. Yeah, today I'm going to do another versus video, this time pitting together the original trilogy against the prequels to see which one is better. Now before I get started, let me just say, Star Wars is without question one of the greatest sci-fi movie series of all time. Seriously, I couldn't go to any convention, or if you guys have been to conventions, you probably have seen the same thing I've seen. There's a lot of stuff that is Star Wars related. You've seen people dress up as Star Wars characters, and it's not hard to see why this thing is big. I mean, a lot of people love how successful Star Wars is and everything they have brought us. I love the movies, I love the Clone Wars series, I love the video games, the comics. Hell, I'm such a huge nerd that I got this for my birthday. The Star Wars original trilogy on Blu-ray and DVD. I'm happy I got this. I even have the original, I have the prequels as well. So, yeah, I'm kind of conflicted because I love all six movies. And yes, I get it. There are flaws with the original, there are flaws with the prequels, but, which one is truly better? Which one had the better story, the characters, the villain, the special effects, the fighting, and the ending? Well, I'm going to settle this once and for all. I'm going to take a look which one is better. First, with the stories. Let's take a look which one had the better story between the original and the prequels, right? Now, before I get started, again, I'm not going to go into great details about both movies, at least the story, because that would take too much time. So, let's start off first with I'm going to sum it up as best I can, okay? So, the original trilogy focused on the journey of Luke Skywalker, who lost his parents and lived with his aunt and uncle on a planet called Tatooine. And we don't know what happened to his parents. We don't know what happened to them until later on, what happened to the father. But yeah, Luke's life all changes when they bought two droids, one of them carrying a message from Princess Leia, who is a part of a rebellion, and she stole these plans to discover that it was plans for a dangerous weapon called the Death Star that had the power to destroy an entire planet. So Luke sets off on his journey with a former Jedi named Obi-Wan Kenobi who knew about his father and knew about this evil Sith Lord named Darth Vader, who kidnapped Leia and is using her to try to get information out of her. Along the way, they also come across a smuggler called Han Solo and his partner Chewbacca, and they set off to stop the Empire and save the galaxy. Now, I love how well the trilogy were able, to keep us interested in the story, how they hooked us in, how the characters did a great job keeping us interested in the story. And it keeps you wanting to know more about these characters. I mean, how did Vader end up how he is? What happened to Luke and Leia's mother? If Yoda's so powerful, how did he end up where he is? What are the Clone Wars? All this stuff. You want to know what's going on, and in the original trilogy, they do answer some of our questions. Not all of them. We have to wait for the rest to be answered in the prequels, which would come out years later. To me, though, this was a unique story and how well it was told. Hell, the story still holds up to this very day, but does it make it better than the prequels? Well, let's take a look, shall we? In the prequels, we focus on how Vader, or before he became Vader, Anakin Skywalker, how he ended up where he is. Even though in the first movie, the first part is focused on Obi-Wan, so it's kind of telling the story of both Anakin and Obi-Wan, how they both ended up where they are. But anyways, we see how all these many characters play a role in the movies and how they ended up helping shape what happened in the trilogy later on. And from finding out that the Emperor gained power, we also find out where the Emperor gained power, how the stormtroopers, where they came from, how Anakin became evil, how he met Luke and Leia's mother, what happened to the Jedi, and we even got the Clone Wars to our question about the Clone Wars be answered. And hell, they did such a great job with the Clone Wars series. It was fun to watch them, both the mini-series and the full TV series, so great job there. The prequels did show us what Anakin went through during his time as a Jedi and how all these events led him to the dark side. It was a nice idea, it had potential, but if I had to say which one was better, I would have to say the original trilogy had a better story. I mean, don't get me wrong. The prequels is a good story, But how all these events, and especially show how all these events happened. But with the original trilogy, there was not too much talking. There was not too much, you know, there was not that many small battles that we got, and that's pretty much what was the problem with the prequels. I mean, in the original, they kept us interested. The characters didn't talk a lot. They did have a lot of good fight scenes, so it was well balanced. So I liked that. In the prequels, though, there was just too much talking. The action scenes that weren't that good, minus the few lightsaber battles, and there was so much drama that made the story less and less interesting. Not that the results for it didn't pay off, they did, but what I meant is, if I had to pick a good story to read, I would have to say the original trilogy was better. So points go to the original. Now, let's start off with the characters, shall we? Now, in the original, we have Luke, Leia, Han, Chewbacca, R2, and C-3PO are the main characters. Or as many people like to say it, like Luke and Leia and Han are the main characters, and the other three are just, the side characters. Even though they're not that bad. I mean, Chewbacca, R2, and 3PO, they're all great characters too. They're funny, they can be interesting, and I like the interaction they have with the characters, especially R2 and 3PO. They do have their funny moments, and they're a lot of fun to watch. I mean, hell, you even get invested in these characters. Like R2, I mean, when I saw him getting shot in the original trilogy, I was worried because I didn't want anything to happen to this little guy. He was fun. He was good to have around. He was very, he did a lot. So I'm very glad he was alive. So it shows how well you can connect with these characters. The main characters are the same thing, especially how well the chemistry they have with one another. I love the chemistry between Leia and Han. It's a lot of fun to watch. Same with Han and Luke, Luke and Leia. So it's a great chemistry they have, especially with Luke against his father. I mean, yes, he knows his dad is evil, but he still wants to try saving him. So it's fun to see that. With that being said, does the prequel have some good characters? Well, I guess you can say that. I mean, we have Anakin Skywalker, despite his cockiness and his attitude. He is a good character, and you can see how he descends to the darkness. I also like the interaction he has with Padme and Obi-Wan as well. But the other characters are not that much interesting. I mean, they're not bad, and they do play a role, especially Palpatine, who manipulates everyone to get where he wants. But yeah, some of these characters we don't get much time with, so we don't get much character development. And those that we do, like Jar Jar Binks, you don't like them a lot. I mean, hell, fans hate this guy so much, and I can understand why. He's not that interesting. He's annoying, and he's supposed to be the comic relief, which is not bad to have, but it looks like he's trying way too hard. Now, I'm not saying all the characters are bad. I'm just saying that they were kind that the original trilogy had. They were better. In the Clone Wars series, they do make these characters in the prequels look good. I mean, we got to see more time with Anakin, Padme, and Obi-Wan, in which I like them a lot in the series. And that was kind of a problem with the movie. I mean, they made the whole thing not that interesting. I mean, hell, Anakin and Padme, when they talked, it looked like they were trying to force the relationship on us. I would not mind seeing it be taken slow, but with the rules and everything, I just couldn't get into it. The things with Anakin and Obi-Wan are pretty good. You enjoy watching it, but again, I prefer the characters from the original, which were much better to have around. So, points goes to the original again. Now we get to the villains, and let's see which one has the better. Yeah, I'm going with the original. Let me explain. The villains in the prequels were not bad. I mean, hell, in the TV series we got some pretty good villains too. And Anakin being evil was okay, but let's be honest. If you had to pick a better villain from one side from these movies to pick or even side with, who do you think you're gonna go with? Who do you think? Vader has everything. Look at this guy. He is such a dangerous villain. He's got this style and he's got this aura around him that you could tell makes him a great villain. So yeah, I'm going with the original again. I'm sorry. He just has that look that makes him a much better villain than the others. So the original wins again with the third point. So let's go on with what's a great story and characters without special effects and fight scenes? Now let's go with the original first. Now in the original, the special effects in that time weren't the best, but they did help make the movies look good at least, especially with the fights. Now we didn't get much fight scenes in the first movie. I mean, at least with the lightsaber. But in the second, we did get to see for the first time Luke and Vader fight, and we did have it wasn't the biggest fight scene ever, but it was a big fight scene between these two, and it was the first time we see Luke going up against someone he's never fought against, and you could tell he was not ready for this guy. Luke held his own, but he was just not enough against Vader. And with the special effects scenes behind this, it helped with the fight scene, and especially how it led up to the big revelation that Vader was Luke's father. In the third movie, the effects got better, especially for the final fight scene, whether it was the fight on Endor, or whether it was the fight in space, or whether it was the fight between Luke and Vader. It didn't matter. They were good. They were fun to watch. However, with time passing, Lucas got more money and could make the prequels look more like how he wanted with the technology they had. And of course, let's not forget what he did with the original when he added in the special effects to make the movie more modern. I didn't like them though. Okay, so with the technology that Lucas had for the prequels, were they the best? Were they able to make everything look good? Well, yeah. They did make. I did enjoy watching how we got to see these different worlds with these special effects. How we got to see the fights being taken place somewhere else where we never got to see them, and how everything looked good. But of course, as the old saying goes, bigger isn't better. Or in this case, all the special effects weren't what made the movie awesome, even though they did take a lot of time with the special effects. Seriously, we did focus a lot on the special effects, which was not bad on the screen, but man, you just want to fast forward and get to where you want to go. However, they did give us something that we never got to see. We got to see a long, proper fight scene between a Jedi and a Sith, which I enjoyed. Not that the fights in space weren't that good or even on the ground, but I wanted to see a Sith and Jedi fight for the first time. Luke and Vader, they were good fights between these two, but I wanted to see from other Jedis and other Sith too. And we got to see that from episode 1 and 3. With Anakin fighting against Obi-Wan in the third one, which was probably my favorite. It was well done, the build-up for this fight was good, and the special effects around them while they fight made it look pretty epic, especially with Yoda and Sidious fighting in the Senate room. So that was cool. Now granted, they did take long with these fights, but I didn't care. I think it was still enjoyable, and we got to see how Anakin ended up how he is. Now in the prequels, yes, we got some good fight scenes, but if I had to say which one had the better effects and fights, I would have to say the prequel. So yeah, the prequel wins this round. Now that we got to the ending, it looks like the prequels are not going to win. So let's see if it wins this round at least or not. Well, I won't lie. I like how the original trilogy ended. It was a good ending with the heroes winning the day, Vader getting redeemed, and we see the future was looking bright for our heroes. In the prequels, though, the ending was kind of bittersweet. Yeah, Obi-Wan survived. We kind of knew that, and he gave up Luke to live with his aunt and uncle. But they still lost. The Jedi were wiped out. The Empire took control. Vader was still alive. They were building the Death Star. Padme still died. So there was nothing good about the ending. You walk down the movie theater feeling depressed because you see all these people being killed off, and the good guys don't win. So yeah, in the original, they gave us at least a good ending. It didn't end with genocide. That was good, and yeah, people still died, but hell, we still got a better ending than that, and it was still great. I love how it went. So yeah, I'm gonna have to say the original wins this round. So the originals win. But if anyone here is the true winner, it's us, the fans. Yeah, I'm probably gonna get a lot of people complaining that the prequel should have won, blah blah blah. I get that, but before you really do, think about this. We win because we got to experience watching these movies and had fun watching them as they passed by. Yeah, they had his moments where they weren't that good, or we had characters we didn't like, or we didn't want to see killed off. But we won because we got to be there and watch these movies happen and see how they went. I mean, hell, a lot of people got invested in the Clone Wars series, especially how Ahsoka walked out. A lot of people loved her. You could tell. I mean, before they hated her when she appeared, even said she was like Jar Jar. But no, she ended up being a likable character, and you wanted to see what happens next. And people went nuts when she came back in the Star Wars Rebel series. So that shows how how the fans were very how much they love this whole series and they wanted to see more of it. And yeah, we win because we love how well these movies have come and how well these TV series have come and how the games have come. And yes, they will have their flaws and there will be times when we will be mad at them, but as long as Star Wars continues being how it is, we won't mind. We won't give up on it. How the movies, the video games, the TV shows, the comics, everything, we will always cherish them. They will live with us for a long time. So yeah, the original wins this fight. But in a way, we win because we got to watch all six of these movies and we got to see some great moments and moments we will remember for a long time. And being able to watch them and enjoy them, and hopefully we'll have the same experience when the sequels come out. So yeah, in the end, the original wins this fight, but we win because we got to see them. Well, that's it, everybody. Take care. See y'all next time. I'll give you more love and more entertainment, and I'm probably this is probably a dumb thing to say, but may the force be with you. Take care, guys.